one of the best weeks of the year, GenCon week. Ba 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 boo. Boo 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 boo. I'm so excited to be doing this spread with you guys today. Just realized I fucked up a little bit on not making some scripts, but we're just gonna use random things to fill it in, you know? That's the way it's gonna be. I'm not gonna use that extra box because I liked all the other boxes in the kit, but we are gonna be using the game night kit from SPC to do our GenCon spread. And make sure you are subscribed over to the BG Girlies YouTube channel. We did daily vlog while we were there, and those will be up. By the time you guys see this, there's going to be 4 total videos. I would say 2 or 3 of them will be up. I am using font 18 for my customs, and then I'm using a build your own bundle with solid black underlays, but the build your own bundles in Gold Holo, confetti. We've got checker and game piece washi, mixed overlays, and then the checker dice underlays. And we're just gonna jump into it. I will be using the days of the week from my shop in whatever this is, font 5, and I'm mainly gonna only be talking about like my trip until we're done, so I won't really be talking about where anything's from. But y'all, this GenCon was the best one yet. Basically, the last 2 GenCons, we were hit in one way or another with con crud, as they call it, where you get sick. Andrea had to leave early last year. The year prior, I literally was like off my rocker on cold medicine. It was just really a time. So we were like, 3rd time's the charm, and it really was. But let's start at the beginning of the week before we left, because the first half of the week was at home. Monday, I did some book shopping, and then Chris and I got lunch. I filmed a little pack with me situation for GenCon for BG Girlies Instagram, so I filmed that. It took like kind of forever, honestly, but we got her done. We got groceries. I actually put that kind of in like a weird order, but it's fine. Then I did some work. I was working on finishing up the sale orders this last couple of days before I left, which I was able to do, so that was awesome. And I did read. What was I reading, you may ask? I finished Peg and Rose Solve a Murder. I wasn't reading that for any particular video, just kind of was reading it because it was on my TBR. And then also Silver Elite. Then Tuesday I worked and I read, continued on working on getting those sale orders done. I read all of 2 books. On the Plus Side by Jenny L. Howe, and by the time you guys see this, my wrap up will be up on my channel, so you guys, on my other channel, so you can see that. And also the Frederick Sisters Are Living the Dream, which will be in an upcoming Reading Gifted Books video. So that was that. And then I did have a little game night with Emily, and I was telling her about all like the fun things we were hyped about for GenCon. So that was really a fun little game night. Chris brought me home McDonald's, and we watched some Critical Role, which I mentioned this in my last video. It took me until we stopped watching Age of Umbra because we kind of like got the point and wanted to move back to Dimension 20. But we just needed to see what was gonna happen next. Did I put the hole protectors on my last spread? I like don't have any memory of it, so I'm like, did I do it? Yeah, I did apparently. So I spell Critical Role wrong, and I wrote it like roll, like I'm playing a role, not like roll like dice. You know, simple mistake for somebody who's really bad at the like spelling, anything in like the English subject, bad at it. But anywho, we did that, and then Wednesday I worked. I finished all the sale orders, and while I was finishing that up, I listened to Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. The book was not good, but I read that. And I also read Everything by Nicola Yoon, which I wanted to watch the movie, but it's not like on any streaming service that I have. So there's that. And then I just kind of relaxed because I was done with producing all the stickers. Not everything has been shipped out yet because I'll be waiting on that bitch ass Purple Holo. Should be here tomorrow, real time, but It's really causing a damper in my life, if I'm being honest with you, but you know, it's all good. But I did that, and then Chris and I watched more Critical Role. Then on Thursday, this is where the fun starts. Thursday was the day we were leaving for Gen Con, so I woke up in the morning, and Chris actually had taken this day off because he and Nick were going to go see Weird Al this night, so it actually worked out perfectly that this was the day that we were leaving. So he just dropped me right on off at Andrea's house in the morning, and we did stop at McDonald's. I didn't write that in, but we did get McDonald's on the way to the airport. And then whenever we landed in Indiana, we had like an awkward-ish amount of time because like we were hungry, like ready for lunch, but we didn't necessarily have enough time to Uber to our hotel, get ready, and then find somewhere to eat, and then find our way to our event that we had to go to. Like, so we're like, let's just find something to eat here at the airport. So we went to this place, and we each got a Caesar salad. It was like soup and a salad combo. And the, oh my god, the soup was this corn chowder. It was so good. It's literally, I'm so hungry, and it's making me salivate thinking about it. It was delicious. It was so good. So then we checked into the hotel, and then we are so thankful, grateful, blessed, imposter syndrome filled. We got an invite to an event being hosted by Darrington Press, which is like Critical Role, okay? It's their team. They make Queens by Midnight. They just came out with Dagger Heart, and they have a new game coming out called Solar Garden. But it was like a networking event, and so that was super interesting and fun to be invited to. And we followed that up by a different event that we were invited to, which was a kind of just like, it was like a more intimate, like hanging out type of an event, but it was still super fun, and it was for indie boards and cards games. So we went to that little party and had a blast getting to chat with everybody about the new things coming out. Then we went back to the hotel, and we were like, okay, like we were trying to figure out if we wanted to order food, which is always kind of like a struggle with us because we never want to like inconvenience each other. But we settled on the fact that we were planning on staying up and watching the Dagger Heart panel that had happened earlier in the day with all the new releases, which they are going to be releasing a romantasy themed campaign frame. And we can't wait, and we want to host like one-shots of it at Larkin Owl because that would be so fun. So fun. And Dagger Heart is a bit more like user-friendly, I guess, than traditional D&D. It's like you're mainly only using D12s, and it's very deeper into like the role-playing your character aspect. So we were like, let's order pizza. So we each picked a pizza. We ordered it. It was like super cheap. The two pizzas, it was, we had somewhere along the way something got messed up in the order. It was on our end wrong, but we ended up with a small deluxe pizza of Hawaiian and then a medium 2 topping. And it ended in like the crust on the Hawaiian wasn't like the correct, like the regular crust. We don't really know. We don't really know what happened, but something happened, and it's fine because there was like a deal going on, and so like delivered with tip on DoorDash, it was like $20 for the 2 pizzas, and we ate that for dinner twice. Like we had a fridge, and we ate it cold, but we had a microwave as well, but we literally ate it for 2 dinners, so it was like $5 a person per dinner. It was just really like a stellar situation. We did that, and then we watched the Dagger Heart situation. Then Friday was our designated shopping day. Basically, Gen Con is a big like shopping games type of convention, whereas like whenever we go to BGG Spring and BGG Fall, those kind of feel like just one big slumber party where we're all like, nobody's really like cosplaying. Like that's not like a thing here. Like at BGG Spring and Fall, it's like just playing games, but Gen Con's like cosplaying, shopping. Like the shopping area is just like so big. Like I don't even have like a frame of reference for how big it is. maybe this will help you out. It opened at 11 a.m. or no, at 10 a.m. We rope dropped it. And we decided this, like, since we didn't have anything planned this day besides a 5 o'clock meeting, which the shopping is open until 6 o'clock, we were like, we're just gonna take the day slow. We're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna look at everything and have an amazing time. And we did. And so we did all of our shopping. We did take a break, probably like a 45-minute break for lunch, where we got pierogies from this one food truck, and they were decent. I will say they were decent, but they were very expensive for like what you got. It was 5 pierogies, and it was like $15 or $16 for 5 pierogies. And like we were still both like not like starving to death, but we weren't like full. So we ended up also, well, I also picked up a cupcake from this one cupcake truck that I really like. It's like this whole street is just food trucks. So I got a almond cupcake, and it was so yummy and scrumptious. And then we were gonna do trinket trading at like 8 p.m. but while we were sitting there, the like 1 p.m. trinket trading started. So we participated in that for like 30 minutes. And then we were like, we must get back to our shopping. And so basically, between 10 and 5 p.m., we only spent 45 minutes of that not in the shopping, going through every single aisle. And there was like still stuff we missed because we went back to the shopping at a later date, at a later time, on a different day. But it was so good. We did go through the shopping one more time. I picked up this sweatshirt that I am actively wearing. You guys can see it has like these gems here. In the back says Dungeon Mistress on it. It's really cute. I got some, this day I got a playmat and some pins, and Andrea got a handful of things, but it was super fun. And then we got some noodles before our meeting, which, oh my god, Island Noodles, love you forever and always. This looks so fun. And so we did that, and then we had our little meeting with GenCon, and it was just so stunning. It was like really fun to be involved in something like that. Like in the meeting, we're just talking about like the gaming space for women and people in the LGBT community, and feeling included, and how to make spaces feel safe for those people. And it just felt like a really like an honor to be like included in that conversation. So yeah, it went super well, and we learned that all of GenCon is put on by 20 people, which is actually wild. Actually wild. But yeah, it was amazing. We went back to the hotel, we did some gaming. Andrea had purchased some games from IV Studios, which is a company that we absolutely love. We've played quite a few of their games at this point, and their games are just, the quality is unmatched, honestly. The quality is 10 out of 10. We also did, when we were shopping, stop by some booths of our favorite companies, especially the company that produces Outrun the Bear. Loved stopping by there, and stopping by Kess, and you know, just some of our loves. So it was super fun. And then yeah, we played Castle Combo, which is a game that Andrea has been like dying to play. Every time we were at BGG Spring, this like every day when we were at BGG Spring, we would go and look for it in the library, because basically there you like rent out games from the game library all day long and just play games, and it's amazing. But it was like in use at all times, like, and they had multiple copies. So she was like, you know what, like I think I'm really gonna like it, so I'm just gonna buy it. And I'm glad she did. It was a ton of fun. I can't wait to play it again. So we played a couple of games of that, which was obviously a blast. And then we played one of the games that was by IV Studios. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. My stomach is growling so loud. I am sorry if you hear that. I don't think you're gonna hear it, but if you for some reason do, I did eat breakfast today. I mean, it's like for sure past like lunchtime, but I am toxic, and I wanted to get these 2 plan with me's done, and then I was gonna break for lunch before I finished my filming. And then I'm even more toxic because I'm like, well, my other 2 videos are gonna be quick, so I might as well just do all of my filming. So we'll see. We'll see where we land. But yeah, so we played some games, and then I marked this just as slumber party because it's literally what it felt like, and it was so fun. So prior to us leaving downtown Indianapolis, because we always stay not like by the convention, not because we don't want to, but because it's like the price gouging for the hotels is ridiculous. And this year, the way it lined up, like Gen Con was the week after the Indy 500. So like hotels are just always ridiculous if you want to stay down there. So we just like don't, and we just pay Ubers because it's still cheaper. And I will note that Ubers were on average about $10 cheaper per ride, which is kind of significant if you ask me. So prior to us going back to the hotel, we walked down to this CVS. There's a CVS that's about a 10-minute walk from the convention, and mind you, at this point, our feet were not well. Our tootsies, not good. Our dogs, they were barking because the floor in the convention hall is concrete, so walking on that all day long, whoo, our feet were tired. But we were like, future us will be grateful. And we really were, because basically Andrea is a very schedule regimented person. So am I. Very relatable content. And she likes to start her day with an Alani, which is completely good. Like, gets her caffeine without giving you the poops like coffee does. So obviously she couldn't pack her Alani because you can't bring, we only pack in carry-ons, and you can't bring that in your carry-on. So she wanted her Alani, so we stopped there. We got a case of water because like a case of 6 big waters was like $4 or $5, whereas waters at the hotel or at the convention were $4 or $5 each. So we got that. I got a couple of Diet Cokes. She got some Reese's peanut butter cups, and I got like a box of microwave popcorn because like we never have microwaves in our hotel, and I was like, oh my god, how fun would this be? And we had already planned to watch K-pop Demon Hunters whenever we got back to the hotel because you could hook up to your Netflix. And Andrea's been obsessed with K-pop Demon Hunters, and I have not watched it all the way through. I watched like probably like a third or half of it at Andrea's house with the kids, but you know, the kids be kidding, and I couldn't really pay attention. So we watched K-pop Demon Hunters while we each ate our bag of popcorn, and it was so fun. It was so fun. So then we move into Saturday, and I think I'm gonna actually wait to talk about Saturday until because I'm about done with the base, and then I don't want to be in the middle of a story and have to pause. But you guys, this Gen Con, like, it was just so good. It was so good, and the fact that we almost didn't go, and the fact that it was just the best time ever is just amazing. And that we have to wait a whole year to go back is just sickening. It's giving me a stomach ache thinking about having to wait to go back. And we met so many nice people. The thing about Gen Con is everybody that, I would say 99.9% of like interactions are so positive. Everybody's like, oh my, like I saw somebody post on Facebook that was like, takeaways from Gen Con, compliment people randomly more often, because like it just feels good when somebody's like, oh my god, I love your shirt, oh my god, I love your eyeshadow. Ugh, so good. But let's zoom in for the day by day. I will also note we buddy listened to The Perfect Divorce on this trip. We didn't, neither of us like actually finished it on the trip. Okay, hold on, I gotta like, okay. So yeah, we buddy read The Perfect Divorce while we were there. This is also where it gets a little tricky because I'm gonna start planning on this side while talking about the other side. But it's gonna be also kind of easy for the simple fact that I'm using the exact same kit. So I can lay down the boxes exactly the same and make my life easy. So basically on Saturday, the first thing we did was we had scheduled to do a like how to play, which is not something we book a ton of at Gen Con, honestly, because we're like, we have kind of like playing new games down to a science the way we like run it. Basically, whenever we play a new game, Andrea sits back and relaxes. Just kidding. She typically will be editing photos and scheduling posts for the prior game that we just played. And if it's the first game, she's making a list of things she would like to she's making a list of things that she would like to get photos of, this of, that of, XYZ. So she is like pretty on top of what she is doing during that time. And during that time, I get the, or if it's a brand new game, she helps me, what's it called, pop out the new pieces, like get everything like unboxed. And then I sit there with the game pieces, set everything up, and read the instructions, because I am the type of learner who learns by reading things, where Andrea is the type of person who learns by like doing things / watching a video. And that just doesn't work for me. So depending on how hard the game looks, she may also watch the video during this time. But if it doesn't seem too terribly difficult, she'll do her thing, I'll do my thing. And then whenever I'm done learning the rules, we come back together and we play the game. And it just works so good for us to do it that way. So we don't do a ton of how to play type things at conventions because we don't really need it, okay? We're like professionals. We've got our shit down to a science. I also don't have any doodles. So I'm just using my stickers that I have, like my collection, rather than like doodles, because I just don't have any. I didn't have any for this kit because it's like an older kit. But I think I might be able to use up this sheet, which is exciting. Using up a sheet is always so satisfying. So basically, we had scheduled to go to learn how to play this new TCG, and if you hear me say that phrase, that means trading card game. Other examples are like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Lorcana. Those are all TCGs. But basically, we had our scheduled thing to learn how to play Altered, and I'm notoriously like an TCG hater. I don't really like any of them besides Magic the Gathering, and Magic the Gathering's really like been a surprise outlier, and I'm not really going to go into the reasons why I think I like it because that would be boring to anybody who doesn't care, but I do like Magic and I don't really like any of the others. So, but Andrea wanted to do this and it was like either free or like $2. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'm down. So we went, and this game is available on BGA, which is Board Game Arena, a website in which you can play games. And if you are interested in playing games with me, let me know because I will be down. And it's like super fun to play games on there, and Altered, the TCG, is on there, and Andrea did do the tutorial and I think played a few games, so she had like a vague understanding on how this game would operate, which is awesome. We love having like the info when we go in, so it makes it a little bit easier. So we're playing, and the woman who was the instructor was just like not very knowledgeable on the game, which I did see a lot in the Fans of GenCon Facebook group. A lot of vendors were having trouble finding people to work their booths this year. So maybe that was a factor. But I also sometimes think that me and Andrea like come across like we're good at faking it till we make it, that we know what we're doing. So then they're like, oh, you got it. And then they just kind of like skedaddle. But she was like saying stuff, and Andrea's like, I'm pretty sure that's like not how this is played. And so whenever we finished, she looked up the rules or read the rules, and she's like, yeah, like half of those things were incorrect. But it was fine. We did that. It was very short. It was like a 35-minute thing because we just kind of like flew through it, which again was completely fine. Completely fine. So we did that, and then we kind of had this like gap, or we went and got noodles again because island noodles are life. And then we basically had this weird gap of time in between that and our D&D session. So we were like, okay, let's like book a magic event, because we've been kind of like really anxious about playing Magic at a convention, because Magic the Gathering players can be kind of like aggressive and very like know-it-all. And so we were just like worried about not feeling like we fit in or like we belong, because we're newer to the game. But we decided to be really brave, and we signed up for what was called a lightning draft, and it was terrifying. It's not necessarily that it was set up confusingly, but like it was confusing for people who had not played it before, which was us. So we were kind of like lost with no direction, and we figured out where to go, and we had like a 1 o'clock ticket for 1 o'clock, and they're basically like, oh yeah, the times, it's a suggestion. Really just like whenever you want to show up is fine, and like if you want to do it now, that's cool, but you're gonna have to wait for 2 more people because we run this in pods of 4. So whenever 2 more people show up, we can like start running this. And we're just like, okay, just tell us where to sit and when like we're ready to go, because I don't get it. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. And then there was these 2 dudes, these 2 guys. Their names were Steve and Dylan. And both Steve and Dylan were like, what are you guys trying to do? And we like told them. And Dylan's like, I don't really care what I do. And basically they're like, it's also flexible. You don't even have to do what you were signed up for, as long as what you end up doing is in like the same price point of events, then like you can do whatever. And so they were both so kind as to be like, yeah, we'll play with you girls, like we will do whatever you guys are doing, and we'll get it done, and we'll have a blast. And we're like, okay, cool. So the 4 of us, we have to like register for the tournament. It was like very official and kind of spooky, honestly. But I was the ultimate loser. I did really, really bad, but it's fine. It was literally so fine, because we had so much fun, and it made us feel way less scared about the situation. And then we ran into what was the quote-unquote worst part of the trip, the experience, but also it's still like, I don't really have anything bad to say about Gen Con. It was just like amazing overall. That this is just such a blip, but it's just like funny at this point, so I just have to tell you about it. But basically, Gen Con is primarily like the bulk of Gen Con, because like Gen Con is like everywhere. It like spreads out of the whole city of Indianapolis, but the like bulk of Gen Con is at a combo of places, mainly being in the, what's it called? In the like Indiana Convention Center. That's like a big place, and at the Lucas Oil Stadium. But they do in fact like rent out basically every hotel. So we had our D&D. It was going to be this super cool pirate themed D&D situation, and it was scheduled at the JW Marriott, which is fine. It's just a bit of a hike. It's like further away, so we do this whole hike walking there. We check in, we get at our table. Another thing about doing RPG, which is a role-playing game, which is what D&D is, one of the things about it is a big portion of your enjoyment, unfortunately, rests upon the people you're playing with. And when you're playing in a situation like at a convention, the people can sometimes make it less enjoyable. So we sit down, everybody seems like good shit. They're making jokes, they're chatting, like they're being friendly. Like it seems, we're like hyped to play with these people. We're like, oh man, this is gonna be so good. And so we're scheduled for, I think our session was at 4. So we got there like a couple minutes early, as we do. And I am personally a 5 minutes like early. It like on time is late. Like you need to be there at least like 5 minutes early is my mindset in life about everything. But like I know not everybody is that way, so I don't hold everybody to my mindset. But it's like 5 minutes past 4. Okay, whatever. 10 minutes past 4, I'm annoyed. And I know that that's like maybe a little bit dramatic. Like 10 minutes isn't that big of a deal. But like your time at Gen Con is precious. This is 4 days out of the whole year. We paid money to be here. We paid extra money to be at this event. So, like, okay. And Andrea's like, Hannah, it's okay, it's all good. And I'm like, yeah, you know, you're probably right. And then we get to like 15 minutes past, and even Andrea's like, okay, like this is getting a little bit annoying. And then we get to like 20 minutes past, and everybody at our table is like, WTF, because it's a big group. There's 7 of us, and it's a shorter session than usual. Most D&D sessions that we've done have been 4-hour sessions. So now we have, and of smaller groups. So now we have this really big group, and we have this really big group, as well as now we're starting like an hour or 30 minutes late because our GM has not showed up. I don't think I mentioned that part. Kind of important to the story. But our GM, our game master, has not shown up. So we're just like, oh, okay. And we're all getting annoyed. There's the guy who was essentially kind of like a host at a restaurant, like sitting up front, just on his phone, not paying attention to what's going on. And he's not like recognizing that we don't have like a game going because like our game master is not present. And so the guy sitting next to Andrea is getting really pissed. He's like, here's the review card. I just spent the last couple of minutes writing a bad review. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So there's another female at the table. She gets up and she's like, I'm gonna go talk to him. And we're like, honestly, you're doing God's work. So she gets up. She's like giving us like a thumbs up, like things are going well. And then she like abruptly goes from like thumbs up to thumb sideways. And we're like, oh God. So she comes back and she's like, yeah, so like he checked in our GM, but like they're not here. And I'm kind of like, I don't know what happened, if like they were there and he checked them in, but like if he just checked them in before they showed up, that's kind of wild. And he already scanned all of us in. And so like he comes over and he's just kind of like, yeah, like, so I can't get a hold of the GM that's supposed to be like running this, but I'm in the process of calling my backups. Mind you, now it's like 45 after. And so the guy next to Andrea is like, so logistically, how is this going to work? Because there's 7 of us and this was supposed to be 3 hours. Now we're 45 minutes behind, and by the time you get somebody in here, we're gonna be like an hour delayed. I'm just like unsure logistically how this works. And the guy's like, oh yeah, well here's your characters, blah, blah, blah. And typically like the first 30 minutes is character creation, which is obviously a lie because he's giving us pre-made characters. And when you give somebody a pre-made character, there is no character creation. You handed me the character and said, okay, Hannah, this is who you're playing. So it didn't really like make any sense what he was saying. And so everybody at the table, we just all start packing up because we're like, no, just simply no. Just simply no. So we all start packing everything up, and wow, I'm catching up to where I am. We all start packing up, and we're like to the guy, like, okay, like, how do we get a refund? And he says, well, I don't really know because I checked you in, so I can't do a refund in the app since it's an electronic ticket. And we're like, okay, well, like, you're gonna have to figure that out simply because we're not just gonna sit here indefinitely. Like, we're wasting time. Gen Con is limited time at this event. So he like walks us down to the headquarters and we get it all situated. The guy working at the headquarters was super nice, and he's like, because it's a digital ticket, like unfortunately it does make it like a little bit trickier. You're gonna have to go down to customer service to like either get refunded on your account, refunded to your bank account, or we can just switch you to another event. It's gonna take like 5-10 minutes for it to go through, but by the time you guys walk there, it'll be good. All good to go. So that moves us into our next thing, which is our customer service drama. So we walked down to customer service, and we were vlogging while we were walking, so we know that it took exactly around a little less than 7 minutes to walk there. And then we pulled over to the side to figure out what event we wanted to do instead, so that whenever we went up and it was our turn, we were prepared. That took probably another 5 or 6 minutes. At this point, it's been well over 10 minutes, so we're like, cool. We go up, and the girl who was helping us was super nice, but she's like, yeah, like, I don't see anything in here about the event being canceled. Then the most Karen of a woman who works there comes over and is like yelling at us, basically alluding to the fact that we're lying to try to get our money back. And we're like, we're literally signing up for an event that's more expensive, so make it make sense. And then she's like just talking like very loudly, poorly about like the whole event, and it was just really cringe. But we ended up getting it fixed, and we signed up for a different Magic the Gathering event, which was in a whole different area, and it was called Planeswalker Chaos, and it was so chill. Basically, we each got a brand new deck of cards that you get to take home, and we got also a booster pack. So even though the event was like $30 a person, you got your money back in cards, which was awesome. And so we each got a deck, and they're basically like, yeah, you can just go over to those tables with like the league banners and sit down. You just need to play 3 games, fill out this card, and then come over and I will give you guys your booster pack. You can do all 3 games together. You can do them with other people. It's really up to you. And we're like, okay, we'll probably just play them together because we're shy. And so we sit down, and then these 2 other guys come up, and they're like, hey, can we sit next to you guys? And we're like, yeah, of course. So they sat with us, and then this other guy came over, and we all just kind of like played together and had the best time. Like, we were all like switching partners, whoever was available, and it was just so fun getting to like interact with people of the community, and everybody was just, again, so nice. So we loved it, and it was amazing. So much so that we canceled our D&D for the next day because it was at like a really bad time of day. So we canceled that to schedule more. But in the morning on Sunday, we went to get breakfast. Went to this place called Connor's, and I got lemon blueberry pancakes, and they were so good. We did our final shopping where I bought a new set of D&D dice. We had a meeting with one of our favorite publishers, Kess, and we got to be included in some super secret info of all of their projects coming out for the next year, and you guys best keep your eyes peeled because they've got some amazing new releases coming out. So we did that, and then we did another one of those like Planeswalker Chaos events, and like everybody remembered us from the day before. They're like, oh yeah, you guys were here. They're like, what decks did you get last time so we can make sure we give you something totally different? And like everybody was just so freaking, like, I just can't express like how nice everybody was. So we did that. We got our final noodles, which was very devastating, and you best believe I've already looked up recipes like on how to make them, and I'm gonna be giving it a go. And then we went to the hotel, and we just had kind of like our own personal little game night at the hotel, which was super duper fun. And we ordered some McDonald's, and they forgot my barbecue sauce, which was really sad. Really sad indeed. And we got McDonald's, and then we kept saying, oh yeah, we're gonna have an early night. We still didn't go to bed till like 11 o'clock, but we had to get up at 5 a.m. to go to the airport the next day. We had a pretty early flight. But overall, it was like the most good for the soul, best time ever with my bestie girl, and I just, I can't wait for next year. The boys might come with us next year, and it's just gonna be great because they can hold our bags, simply. So